This is Dr. Flight again. Stage 5 of our project is upon us, and this is the fifth and final stage of the project where you want to analyze what we're doing here. Introducing a new product to the marketplace can be tricky. Any number of product failures have happened as a result of poor commercialization, and that simply means that when the product was launched, it was either launched at the wrong time, launched in the wrong places, or its message wasn't amplified loud enough for people to understand what it is or why they should buy it. So there was something wrong with the communication plan. And so again, we want to try to do as much as we can to ensure a successful product launch. And after you've developed the concept, created the product, done all the research to actually ensure that the product makes sense from a internal perspective and an external perspective, doing concept tests and such, it'd be a shame to have the product fail because there wasn't enough promotion behind it, or it was delivered at the wrong time of the year, or it wasn't the right place. So the last stage then deals with the final two P's. You may recall when we're developing the product, you actually create what should be created earlier in the project as a revenue model, and that helps justify the product purpose across the organization. So you have to assign price at that point, and you do a price analysis. And you're creating the product, which is the product P, those two P's. If we're doing the four P's, that means we have two P's left. One would be the placement of it, which would be distribution, and then finally the promotion of it. And so that's what this final stage is all about. These two elements, which are critically essential to the product success. And again, a lot of products have failed because these two things haven't really been done properly or whatnot. So again, this stage is all about those two, and moving on from there. So it's one of these where a lot of the work of the project has been done. And so this shouldn't be a lighter section, this shouldn't be a weaker section, but you'll feel like this is a concluding section almost in a sense, but again, it's vitally important as we go through here. So here's a couple ideas when we're talking about placing the product, things that we want to look at, and I've just got one little slide here to show you, or to kind of emphasize, if you will. And this would be channels of distribution. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to identify how the customer will get access to the product. And there are lots of different intermediaries who could play a role, or the product could be delivered directly to the customer from the company, from your company that you chose. That would be a direct-to-consumer approach, which is the very top line there, where your company is the manufacturer, the producer, and then you have an end user. You may do another type of model where you license out your brand and a third party produces the product, and then the product gets delivered to the customer. You could use all kinds of different models, and you could use multiple models. So in other words, you could use a retail system where the product is delivered through retail outlets, but you could also sell directly online as well, and you'd use two channels, in fact. Sometimes we call this process omni-channeling, where you have multiple channels in which the customer can get the product. But this is something that you're going to have to think about and think clearly about in terms of the strategy you want to use to bring the product to the customer. Now, part of this will be easy, only because your existing company already has channels of distribution. They already deliver products to the customer, most likely. And the question is, do you want to continue to use those channels of distribution, or do you want to introduce a new channel or a new design for this new product? So you gotta want to think about that, and you want to explain that in your write up and how this channel design is going to work. You may want to use a chart kind of similar to this, where you outline exactly who the intermediaries are, and so forth. The other thing that would enhance your project is to explain the type of customer who is going to use each channel. And this is actually really important when it comes to market segmenting and understanding customers, customer profiles. One way we segment customers is by the channel in which they get their products from. I use this example. It's kind of a silly one in class, where if you have a fast food restaurant, some people walk in the door and they order fast food from the counter. Some people prefer to go through drive-through. Some people prefer to order through drive-through. Some people prefer to order through their app and pick up their food either in the lobby or through drive-through. So there's like 3 different channels there, designs anyways, that people can use, and you can probably think of more as well. But the point is that the person who walks in and makes a purchase in the lobby, their profile, the characteristics of that consumer, psychologically at least, are different than the psychological characteristics of the person who goes to the drive-through. They may be nuanced, but they're different. Some people just simply don't like the pressure of going through the drive-through. They'd rather sit and look at the menu board and really think about what they're doing, especially if it's your first time at a restaurant. First-time customers don't want to be pressured through the drive-through. And that's a different psychological makeup for that consumer than otherwise might be. And so each channel then suggests that you'll be reaching a different type of customer. And so a really great project would include a conversation as to why these channels exist. One, from an operational perspective, like why the company is choosing the channel for the logistics of getting the product to the customer, but then second, why the channel exists from the consumer's perspective as well. So bear that in mind as you're thinking this through. This shouldn't be, well, we'll just do what the company already does. This should be something a little bit more thoughtful, and an explanation as to why the channels make sense would be really super to be able to do that. Okay, the other part of this stage then deals with your communication plan. And again, as you're looking to do communication plans, this 4th P called promotion really deals with, in our case, introducing a new product to the market. So if I were to move forward just slightly, you'll see the different stages of the product life cycle. We're in this inform stage. That's exactly what we're doing. So the goal of what your communication plan needs to be would be to give people information, explain what the product is, explain why they need it, explain why it's better than your competitors, and motivate them to make an initial purchase. Right? So as you're doing that, there are different key elements that you could use, and this is up to you as to which ones you use and to which varying degrees you use them. So oftentimes when we do public relations, we do a product launch. There might be a product launch event. There might be speeches involved. There'll be press releases involved. There'll be those types of excitement generating elements. You could do a sales promotion where people will try the product at a discounted price once. That'd be an introductory pricing, scheme to get people to buy the product once. It's really a promotion because of how it's defined. You could do traditional advertising, and if you do traditional advertising, you need to think about the vehicles that you're going to use, whether it'll be traditional media like TV and radio and print, or whether it'll be other types of advertising, billboards, transportation advertising, other signage opportunities. You could do advertising online or in a digital format, even though that's in another category. You could pay for an ad to be, for instance, on a website. Do something like that. Depending on your product, if it's expensive and if it's highly personal, or very, very technical, then personal selling might be an approach that you take, although it may not be. That might not be involved in your strategy, at least to inform and create initial interest in your product. And then the final area there would be digital or social media marketing, which, again, think of your customers, think of who's buying your product, think of what the company already does for their promotional strategy. That might give you an insight as to what makes sense for your market, for the customers who are buying and listening to these things. If you're going to do some type of social media type thing, you might think of influencer marketing. And if that makes sense for your product, you could, through digital, also leverage your website, which was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, it's just, I hate that it's assumed, but I would guess that you're going to put information of your new product on your website. And so that might be something that you do. If your company has an app or some type of digital product like that people download and use, then you probably integrate your new product onto that app as well. So there's a lot of things you could do there. I again would caution you to remember your objectives. You want to inform, the people, your customers, of what this product is, why they need it, and why it's better than your competitors. And you want to motivate sales. You want to motivate initial year sales. Those are your goals. Those are things that you want to accomplish out of your communication plan. So be sure to focus on those too, and then think of the tools you'll use to make those happen. And your tools, again, advertising, maybe some type of a promotion, certainly public relations, because it's kind of easy to do. It's a no-brainer as far as ginning up and getting excitement, and then a digital presence will probably be something that's there as well. And again, depending on your product, whether it's appropriate or not, you might consider some personal selling elements as well. Okay, so there's actually a good amount of strategy in both of these kind of components that you want to think about. What you choose to do will largely depend on the type of company you have, the type of product, and the market that you're trying to reach. But again, don't sell short the importance of this stage 5. Many products have failed, not because they're bad products, but because this execution of the launch hasn't been done well. And remember, these strategies are all designed and created before the product is launched. When the product is launched, the strategies here in stage 5 are executed. Okay, so that's kind of how it works with new product development and product launches. And then after initial phase, whether it's a month, whether it's 2 months, the results are analyzed, and then these plans in stage 5 become tweaked and changed to adapt to get better results, basically, after that. So this is stage 5. Again, reach out to me if you have any questions. This is not a long video by any stretch. So refer to your textbook, refer to the videos that are available that I've created that go with the text on these materials or on these areas. They will help you to identify those strategies, and then you just pull it together with the plan that you've already created. Let me know if you have any questions. Hope everything's going well for you. Thanks.